It's the LGN Canadian Grand Prix. AJP's on pole with Pre looking out the front row as it's lights out, and away we go. Pre gets a good start, so does Levi in third. There's contact with the McLaren driver as we come down to turn one. You can see the Alpine driver of Jack going down into P16 after a collision with Ollie. Ollie's going to get a 5-second time penalty, so's Gerald Crisp and Sizzling H, as the virtual safety car has been deployed at the start of this race. Pre leads, followed by Levi, with Dom in third, Evan in P4, AJP in P5, Lugner P6, Ollie P7, LJ in P8, Blazer, Active Buffalo, Relic, Harry Sanchez, Gerald Crisp, Agile, Sizzling H, and then Jack, as we're under virtual safety car conditions. But it's Pre that leads this race. Here's the start then from Sizzling H's car. Gets away well, and that's where Ollie makes contact with the Alpine driver, and then Sizzling H gets tags from behind and onto the grass. We're still under virtual safety car conditions, but the Mercedes driver of Ollie has no wings, so he's going to go into the pits, as well as Levi, as well as Blazer. The virtual safety car has ended, and Pre leads this race. Dom's in second with Evan in third. So the cars come down then to the start of Sector 2. The McLaren drivers sandwiched by the Red Bull driver of Evan. Pre still leads this race. AJP is going to try and send one down the inside of the Red Bull driver of Evan. Can Evan defend as he almost makes contact? And that's going to mean Lugner now behind them, gains on them slightly. Evan getting pushed slightly off track, but it's AJP who makes the move on Evan and puts himself up into P3. Now Lugner's going to try and get the overtake on Evan as Pre leads the drivers down into Sector 3, coming down to the last few corners on this sector, and Lugner gets the move on Evan. Will Evan be able to fight back? You've got LJ in the distance. Pre gets the fastest lap of this race, and Evan gets the overtake back on Lugner, back up into P4. Lugner gets the fastest lap at 1:14.2, and race control have enabled DRS. Relic then in P8 finds himself behind Active Buffalo in P7. He's got Harry Sanchez behind him. He may have to defend the Red Bull driver, as Harry Sanchez is going to set one down the inside of the Hash driver of Relic, and he almost gets past. The drivers go neck and neck, and it's an incident, and the front wing of Harry Sanchez comes off of his car, and Relic goes down into P10. Both drivers squeezing each other almost into the wall, and Relic is down into P10. Pre then is still leading this race on his second race here in the LGN League, followed by Dom and then AJP. The McLaren drivers in P2 and P3 here on lap 4. Evan in P4 and Lugner is in P5. Blazer then in P14 has the Alpine driver of Jack just behind him. Blazer is on the hard compound of tyres. Jack is on the medium compound of tyres. You can see Ollie and Harry Sanchez just ahead. The battle for P14 continues then as Evan gets a 5-second time penalty. Jack's now going to send one down the inside. Runs out of road. Blazer stays ahead. And Jack loses some time as Pre sets the fastest lap of 1:13.2. The two McLaren drivers are getting extremely close. Dom leads them as AJP follows as they go down to the last few corners here on lap 5. On to lap 6 we go. Lugner follows them. AJP now is going to send it down the inside of his teammate Dom. They mustn't make contact, and Dom lets him through. AJP with a great move, but there's a safety car that has been deployed. GRL Crisp has retired from this race. A safety car has been deployed here on lap 6. AJP is up into P2. I wonder then which drivers will decide to pit. Ollie stays out, so does Harry Sanchez. Sizzling H and Levi are in the pits. Ollie in P11 is going to go up into P9. Harry Sanchez follows him, as well as Sizzling H and Blazer. You can see Sizzling H coming out of the pits and just about getting ahead of the Mercedes driver of Ollie. Sizzling H in P10. And the drivers now will continue to gain on the safety car. The safety car is coming in here on lap 8. The Aston Martin of Pre leads this race. He's never won an LGN League race before. It's only his second ever LGN League race ever. And he's leading here in Canada. Lugner also hasn't won this season, is in P2, followed by Evan, who is also searching for his first win this season. AJP's in 4th. Active Buffalo's in 6th as the safety car goes in. Pre leads. Jack gets a 5-second time penalty. Lugner follows the Aston Martin driver. Has Evan just behind him. Then AJP. There's 4 cars that are pulled away from the others. As Lugner might send it down the inside of AJP. There's a yellow flag. Pre still leads. Agile gets a 5-second time penalty. And Lugner stays in P2. He's got AJP just behind him. AJP and Evan have time penalties. Lugner and Pre do not. As Pre leads the cars then down towards Sector 2. It's Pre that leads. Dom has fallen down into P7. Ollie is in P8. He's got Blazer, Harry Sanchez and Relic all behind him for a great midfield battle. There's a yellow flag in Sector 1, 2 and 3. Relic then getting the overtake on Blazer just in the background there. There's another safety car here on lap 9. Ollie goes into the pits. Relic decides to stay out. Dom is also in the pits, as well as Harry Sanchez and Sizzling H. Dom is also in the pits. Relic stays out. So does Blazer, the Williams driver. Blazer up into P8. AJP is leading here on lap 11. Evan is in 2nd. LJ, out of nowhere, finds himself in 3rd. Pre and Lugner both pitted, as there's an incident in the background. Harry Sanchez has retired from this race. Lugner finds himself in P5. Active Buffalo in P6 as we get back underway. It's the McLaren driver of AJP who is leading here in Canada. Evans in 2nd. Pre is gaining on LJ. Lugner leads from Active Buffalo, then Relic and then Blazer as the cars come round the 2nd corner of this race. Pre might think about setting it around the inside of LJ. Can he get the move? He sends it down the inside and he puts his car up into P3. Active Buffalo gets a 3-second time penalty. LJ falls down into P4. Blazer has Dom behind him. Dom might try and send it down the inside. There's a yellow flag and it's LJ. LJ's had an incident with Lugner and LJ falls down the order into P7. Relic gets the move into P6. There's so many cars in this midfield battle. There's almost 4 abreast down the main straight, and it's still AJP that leads. You can see Blazer gaining on Dom. He might think about sending it down the inside of the McLaren driver, and Ollie's gone straight into the back of him, and that's going to see Ollie with wing damage, and now he's going to be under pressure from Levi. AJP sets the fastest lap at 1:13.2. We have a race replay from Levi's car. All the drivers up ahead of him. He's got LJ and Ollie ahead of him. Goes round LJ, and that's where the contact was made between Ollie and Blazer's car. And then Levi getting the move done on the Mercedes driver, going up into P9. Levi finds himself in P9 behind Blazer, the Williams driver. As you can see, Blazer goes off of the track and spins, and he might be out of this race. He drops down to P13. Levi goes up into P8. Has Sizzling H behind him in P9. Let's have a look at another angle of this crash from Levi's perspective. Blazer comes round the corner and just loses grip on the hard compound of tyres and goes straight into a wall. Relic and Dom are side by side. Levi follows them as they come around this corner, and Levi, and you can see Relic has had an incident and he's hit Dom and he's spun and he's retired from this race. Levi up into P7 now, Sizzling H up into P8, and that's going to see Dom in P6. Relic is out of this race. Dom has gone into the pit, so it means Ollie goes up into P9 and Jack is now into the points in P10. LJ is just ahead of Ollie and Sizzling H is just ahead of him here on lap 14. 4 laps to go. Active Buffalo then is defending off Levi for his P5 position. The Ferrari driver is on the soft compound of tyres. Levi is on the medium compound of tyres. The Alpine driver thinking about sending it down the inside of the Ferrari driver of Active Buffalo, and he does, and he gets the move done. And in the background you can see LJ going around the outside of Sizzling H. There's 4 cars battling for P5. This is great racing. Active Buffalo and LJ are wheel to wheel coming down to the first corner on the last lap of this race. LJ gets the move done and gets ahead of the Ferrari driver of Active Buffalo and puts his car up into P6. Active Buffalo down into P7. He might have to defend Sizzling H as well. The Alfa Romeo driver is gaining on the Ferrari driver too. AJP is going to cross the line. However, will his time penalties mean that Pre is going to get his first win in the LGN League? It does. Pre wins the LGN Canadian Grand Prix, and AJP comes home in P2 with Levi coming in third and Lugner finishing in P4 with Evan in P5. We have a brand new winner here in the LGN League. It's the Aston Martin driver of Prix who wins the LGN Canadian Grand Prix. AJP comes home in second after crossing the line in first, but his time penalties mean that Prix wins here today and beats Levi and ends Levi's win streak, with Levi coming on the podium in P3. Before you go anywhere, let's have a look at the Drivers' and Constructors' League standings. Here are the Drivers' League standings after today's race in Canada. Levi is first on 199 points. Evan is in second. Gerald Crisp is in third. AJP goes up into P4. John goes down into P5. Sizzling H goes up into P6. Ollie is in P7. Harry Sanchez is in P8. Lugner in P9. LJ in P10. Tony JD in P11. Blazer in P12. Prix, after his win today, goes up 7 positions into P13. Jack is in P14. Sirius is in P15. JC is in P16. Relic is in 17th. Active Buffalo in 18th. Agile 19th. And Entire YOLO is in 20th. And here are the Constructors' League standings. Alpine are still in first on 222 points. Red Bull are in second. McLaren leapfrog Alfa Romeo and go up into third, and Alfa Romeo go down into fourth. Mercedes are in fifth. Williams in sixth. Aston Martin go up 2 positions and find themselves in seventh. AlphaTauri go down into eighth. Ferrari go down into ninth, and Haas are in 10th. We hope you enjoyed today's video. We will see you next week around Great Britain.